temperature drops at a higher rate than yesterday, this suddenly becomes much more representative of qualifying conditions.
Down 2.5 degrees already since the start of the session. We've only been going 18.5 minutes. Alex Albon then on his first run in anger on the soft compound tyres. Goes 6th fastest overall with a 1:31.0. He didn't get, as Bernie Collins was telling us, a clear run in yesterday on the soft tyre. He was kind of an outlier. We wanted to know where his pace was, and that's about where it is at the moment, as Lance Stroll on the hard tyre on a different programme, going significantly slower by about 0.7 of a second. Although soft too hard, that's about the right delta between the two tyres. What we don't know, of course, is the fuel loads, and if you're running the hard tyre, surely you're going to be on a higher fuel load than you are on the soft tyre.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good question now to ask to Bernie again. You know, would they be going out with cars on the same fuel load? Or is that too late in the day now to be doing that?
I think you might put a bit more fuel in on the first run, just because, especially those on the hard tyre, and want to be getting more laps in. The hard tyre is one of those tyres that might get a little bit better and better lap on lap as the track improves in this session.
Thanks,
but
Bernie.
definitely by the time you get to the later runs, it's going to be a much more consistent, I think, across all of the teams. They're going to be sort of trying to, in this session, you don't want to just fuel for the absolute minimum number of laps, because there's going to be yellow flags, or we've seen yesterday sort of little mistakes that you need to abort and go again. So you need enough fuel to get us a number of laps.
Before you got here, Nico, we were chatting with Bernie about on the last qualifying session on the FP3, drivers are pushing to want to get a car in the configuration that they will have in qualifying, and that is a tension between the engineers who want more data for a race. What would you do? What would you like? Were you on Saturday morning, were you just saying, I just want to work on my qualifying?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and as you also know, Damon, that's usually quite a fight often between the drivers and the engineers, because the engineers will not understand the component of driver confidence as well, because of course they've never been in a Formula 1 car at 320 kilometers an hour. So it's a component that's very difficult for them to judge and quantify, you know. And as a driver, then it's down to you to really have to push, and you say, yeah, listen, I know you need to learn.
The change of direction starts to come, and they can really enter the. See that just, even though George is on the softer tyre, it looks lazy through there compared to what we saw with the Red Bull. It just can't quite, you know, get that turn in and confidence at once. It's turned in, it's going to stay.
So George Russell wants more instant response from the car.
He wants more grip.
And the car's like hanging back a bit from him.
Yeah, you just want it's. You can turn in quickly, but then the car will spin. So you don't want that.
Fifth fastest for George Russell. A couple of best sectors, first and final sector. Bernie Collins, to you.
Yeah, so just one interesting thing I noticed that we were debating earlier on was that there's an interesting compare at the moment between Perez P1 on a used soft tyre and Verstappen P2 on a new hard tyre. So that shows that last night Checo, or his side of the garage, decided to give back a new hard.
Why?
And hold on to the used soft.
Why would you give back a new tyre?
Well, so it's interesting when you look at the lap times. Perez is .3 quicker than Verstappen, so that blows my other theory